Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before we begin this video, don't forget to give it a like. It truly encourages us to keep sharing beneficial content, inshallah. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss our future videos on faith, spirituality, and Islamic reminders. Barakallahu feekum. May Allah bless you and enjoy the video. You know something sacred is approaching. Not because someone told you, not because of a dream or a sign from the sky, but because something deep inside you has shifted. You no longer chase love the way you once did. The desperate search, the need to be seen, to be validated, to be chosen, it has all quieted down. It's not because you've given up. It's because you've surrendered. And that surrender didn't come easily. It came after pain. It came after confusion. After investing your heart in people who didn't know how to hold it. After hoping again and again, only to watch things slip through your fingers like sand. Somewhere along the way, you stopped trying to force what wasn't written for you. You began to trust the unseen. There is something profoundly beautiful about the moment when you realize that you don't have to beg for what's already yours. You no longer ask, when will it come? But instead you begin to ask, who do I need to become to receive it? That's when you know the soulmate you've been praying for is closer than ever. Because before Allah sends the right person, He works on making you the right version of yourself. You begin to clean the inside of your soul. You start to let go of old attachments that no longer serve your journey. People fade out of your life quietly, and you no longer resist it. You see it as divine protection. The friendships that used to drain you, they dissolve. The people who made you feel small, they stop calling. The person you kept hoping would change, you stop waiting. These are not coincidences. This is Allah preparing your heart for something deeper, purer, and more aligned with your soul. There's a certain peace that begins to settle in. Not a loud, celebratory peace, but a gentle, quiet one. The kind that whispers, you're getting closer. You feel content, even though you're still waiting. You look around and realize that you're okay on your own. Not lonely, just whole. And it's in that wholeness that love can finally meet you. Not to complete you, but to walk beside you. The change happens subtly. Your conversations shift from I need someone to I trust Allah's timing. Your prayers evolve. You no longer beg, please bring them to me now. Instead you say, prepare me for what you've already prepared for me. And that shift changes everything. Because now you're not chasing love. You're attracting it by simply becoming who you were meant to be. There's a deep spiritual truth hidden here. The soulmate is not just a person. The soulmate is also a reflection, a mirror of your own spiritual growth. When you heal, you attract healed love. When you stop settling, you make room for someone who won't make you question your worth. When you return to Allah, He sends someone who reminds you of Him. And yes, sometimes, before you meet this person, you may feel a strange stillness. Life may even feel like it's paused, like nothing is moving forward. But what's really happening is that your heart is being purified. You're being emptied of what cannot come with you, of illusions, of fears, of impatience. Because Allah is never in a rush, but He is always on time. Some days, you might feel that ache again, that longing to share your heart with someone who truly sees you. But even in that longing, there is something different now. There's trust, there's dignity. You no longer lower your standards just to feel something. You don't entertain temporary connections to fill eternal spaces. You understand now that what is written for you will find you, not because you chased it, but because you became ready. This is not about waiting in stillness. It's about growing with purpose. It's about spending time with yourself and with your Creator. It's about building your character, refining your intentions, and learning to love without attachment. Every prayer, every tear, every lonely night has not gone unnoticed. Allah sees. Allah hears. And Allah never forgets the heart that calls on Him sincerely. So when your heart feels calm, when your soul feels aligned, when you no longer feel the need to be rescued, know this: the person meant for you is already on their way. They are being prepared too. Perhaps they are healing right now. Perhaps they are learning how to love Allah so they can one day love you right. Trust in that unseen preparation. Trust that two souls, written for each other, will always find their way, no matter the distance, no matter the time. This peace you feel, it's not random. It's not just maturity. It's a sign that the storm has passed, that the waiting has not been in vain, that something sacred is drawing near. Stay grounded in that peace. Stay close to Allah, and when the time comes, you will recognize the one, not because of butterflies, but because your soul will finally feel at home. Sometimes, life begins to whisper in ways that feel too precise to ignore. You start noticing patterns, names you keep hearing, numbers you keep seeing, places that keep showing up around you. At first, you brush it off. Coincidence, maybe. But it doesn't stop. The signs become louder, more frequent, and you feel it. Something is aligning. These are not random. These are synchronicities. Subtle, divine messages that Allah places along your path, not to confuse you, but to guide you. When your soulmate is close, the world around you often starts reflecting it. Allah speaks in signs, in subtle echoes of the unseen. You hear a name that instantly resonates with your heart, not once, but repeatedly. You might open a book and read something that feels like it was written specifically for your soul. You hear a verse from the Qur'an, and it suddenly answers the question you were too afraid to ask. You begin to dream, not the chaotic, confusing dreams of the past, but dreams that carry a strange clarity. Maybe you see a figure, someone familiar though you've never met. Maybe you feel a presence in your sleep, a sense of comfort that lingers even after you wake. The Prophet Muhammad said that dreams are one of the 46 parts of prophethood. When your soul is clear, sometimes Allah gives you a glimpse of what is coming, just enough to encourage you to keep trusting Him. But it's not just dreams or signs in the sky. You also start to feel things inside yourself. A strong intuition, a gut feeling that tells you something good is coming. And even though you have no proof, no physical evidence, your heart knows. You sense that something sacred is near. The people around you might not understand it. They may call it wishful thinking. But faith isn't about proof. It's about presence. You begin to feel Allah more clearly in your life. Your du'as become deeper. Your connection to prayer becomes more personal. You're not just asking for love anymore. You're thanking Allah for preparing you to receive it. Sometimes the sign is silence. Everything becomes still. The distractions fall away. You're no longer pulled into confusion or chaos. And in that stillness, you hear Him. You hear His signs. That inner voice becomes louder, and it keeps telling you, stay patient. It's close. Synchronicities are not meant to be worshipped or obsessed over. They are reminders that Allah is orchestrating something beyond what you can see. They are small sparks of light in the fog. Allah is drawing you closer to someone whose soul has been written with yours since before time began. So pay attention, but not with fear or anxiety. Pay attention with love, with peace. When you feel that strange alignment, when the same word, idea, or name returns again and again, smile. Because it's not random. It's a message. Your story is about to begin. Before any great blessing, there is almost always a test. A final, often painful challenge that shakes you, humbles you, and forces you to either give up or surrender completely to Allah. When your soulmate is almost near, you may first walk through what feels like a storm. Not because Allah is punishing you, but because He is preparing you. The greater the gift, the deeper the purification. It often starts with a feeling of isolation. You look around and realize that people you once relied on are no longer there. Friends you thought would stay drift away. Conversations feel shallow. You may even begin to question your worth, wondering why everyone else seems to find love while you are still waiting. It feels like you've been forgotten, but you haven't. You're being set apart. That loneliness is not a curse. It's a container. It's the sacred space in which Allah begins to rewire your heart, where He teaches you that no human being can give you what only He can. When you are emptied of distractions and attachments, when you are stripped of illusions and unrealistic expectations, only then can you truly recognize a love that comes from Him. A love that isn't built on desire or status, but on mutual submission to Allah. Many people don't talk about this part of the journey. The heartbreak before the healing. The test before the connection. But it's real. You might go through a relationship that nearly breaks you, one that teaches you what love is not, so you can recognize what love truly is. Or you may go through a phase where nothing seems to make sense. You're emotionally exhausted. You've prayed, cried, fasted, waited, but nothing is changing. It's in these moments that your faith is tested most. Sometimes, just before Allah sends the one meant for you, everything in your life feels like it's falling apart. Your plans don't work. Your goals seem distant. Your heart feels heavy. But in that collapse, something deeper is unfolding. You are not being destroyed. You are being rebuilt. Allah removes everything that is not aligned with the next chapter of your life. And it hurts because you've grown attached. But Allah knows what you don't. He sees what you can't. This is when you're called to trust Him, not with words, but with action. You still show up in prayer, even when you feel tired. You still make dua, even when your voice shakes. You keep walking, even when the path looks unclear. That's not weakness. That's true strength. That's love for Allah. The Qur'an reminds us, do the people think that they will be left to say, we believe, and they will not be tested? Surah Al-Ankabut 29:2. Every soul that is destined for something great must first walk through a valley of testing. This is where your sincerity is proven. This is where your faith becomes real. So if you're in this season right now, if you feel like everything is being taken away, don't despair. You are closer than you've ever been. This isn't punishment. This is purification. Allah is removing the noise so you can finally hear His answer. He is softening your heart, not to hurt you, but to prepare it to hold something sacred. And when it comes, it will feel right. It won't be forced. It won't leave you confused. It will come with clarity, with peace, with a deep sense of, this is what I waited for. But you would not have been able to see it or receive it had you not passed through the test. The hardship before the gift is part of the mercy. It prepares you for the beauty that's coming. So hold on. Not to people, not to outcomes, but to Allah. Because what's coming isn't just a partner, it's a divine union. And the test you're facing now is the final door before that blessing enters your life. Sometimes, the clearest sign that your soulmate is near is not what changes around you, but what changes within you. There's a shift. Quiet at first, but powerful. You begin to notice your heart becoming more still, more content. The longing is still there, but it no longer controls you. It no longer feels desperate or anxious. Instead, it feels like trust, peace, readiness. This inner transformation is often the final preparation. Before Allah unites two souls, He brings them to a place of emotional, spiritual, and mental alignment. And the clearest indicator of that alignment is when you no longer chase love. You become love. You begin to nurture your soul. You focus on becoming the kind of person you are praying to meet. And without realizing it, you rise to the frequency of the person destined for you. This doesn't mean you suddenly become perfect or have everything figured out. It means you've let go of the illusions that once held you back. The belief that someone else will come and fix you, or that marriage will solve your emptiness. You've realized that wholeness comes from Allah first. And from that wholeness, you're ready to share your heart. Not out of neediness, but from abundance. You may start making better choices. You begin to guard your energy. You stop entertaining relationships that don't honor your values. You become more patient, more compassionate. You forgive yourself for your past. You see your mistakes as part of your journey, not as proof of your unworthiness. And in this softness, you discover strength. The kind of strength that makes space for another soul without losing your own. The Qur'an says, "Women of purity are for men of purity, and men of purity are for women of purity." Surah Al-Nur 24-26. This is not just about outward behavior, it's about inner alignment. When you reach that inner place of stability, Allah aligns your paths in the most unexpected ways. You no longer feel desperate to find your soulmate because you trust that what is written will find its way. And that faith becomes your calm. You also begin to enjoy your solitude, not as a burden, but as a blessing. You understand that alone doesn't mean incomplete. You use this time to strengthen your connection with Allah, to grow in purpose, to serve, to dream, to build. And in doing so, you unconsciously prepare the ground for someone who is doing the same. So if you feel that shift, if your soul is quieter, your heart more open, and your focus more divine, know that something sacred is unfolding. Your soulmate is not just someone you meet, it's someone you recognize, because your souls already met in a place the world can't see. And when the time is right, Allah will write the moment. Until then, let your peace be the proof that you are already close, very close. May Allah bless you and guide you to a life filled with mercy, love, and tranquility.